Hey guys, I'm Wendell G. Welcome back to the WBL. We are currently in the um World Series with Helga and Buffalo tied one game apiece. Congrats to Helga for sweeping the Dam, who swept us in the sacrificial lamb ship. I thought we were going to give the Dam a much better series than that, but honest to goodness, I thought we were very darn lucky to be in the wild card playoffs to begin with. So anyway, just very happy. We scored 4.6 million in postseason appearance money. That's fantastic, thanks to OU's ridiculous ticket prices. And you need to go outside, Jimmy. Okay, this commercial interruption brought to you by Jimmy Sue. All right. It's almost like Pavlov, man. The sound of my voice is like she says, "Oop, time to go out." Okay, whatever. So, what I wanted to briefly share with you is simply a quick look back at the Moscow Mules 2047. At home, we were fantastic. On the road, we were a 500 club. We were 19 games over 500 at home. We were 8-10 in extra inning games, 13-15 in one-run games, so about even in close games. We were 15-17 versus left-handed pitching, 76-54 versus right-handers. So we were really good against right-handers, mediocre against left-handers. We ended the season on a 6-4 run, and the thing that got us into the playoffs was taking 2 out of 3 from Istanbul at our home place. And Istanbul made it really close because we played Helga in the final series, and we only won 1 of 3. Istanbul won 2 of 3 against the Dam. So the Ottomans were hanging in right into the last week. And I really think they would have given Amsterdam a better postseason than we did, which is a shame. So this Moscow team did not have a losing month this year until September. April 14-12, in May 16-13, in June we were even at 14-14. We had an amazingly strong July and August at 17-8 and 17-10, and I'll get into why I think that was the case. And then in September, our bats sort of folded up the tents and left, which was weird because many teams were going into conservative mode, getting ready for the playoffs in September, and for whatever reason, our guys just quit hitting. Basically in the same lineup that we were running July and August when we were hot. We ended the year on the batting side, second in batting average in the National League, the North League, third in on base, fourth in home runs. We were actually second in home runs for most of the season and tapered off right there at the end. We were third in the North League in stolen bases. You can see I've changed some things about this team, the chemistry and the makeup. I focused more on hitting and run scoring than I did on defense. Look back on the defense side, our starters ERA 6th in the North League. Our bullpen was 2nd in the North League. Runs allowed 5th in the North League, not great. We had the 3rd best run scoring offense and the 5th best run scoring defense, run allowing defense. We gave up this. We were at 6th place in hits allowed and an opponent's average, 8th in batting average on balls in play. So our defense was not very good. We were in fact 8th last in defensive efficiency in the 8th. No, next to last. There are 9 teams. 8th in defensive efficiency in the North. We threw the most strikeouts. We garnered the highest strikeout total in the North League, which is surprising because I don't recruit strikeout pitchers. Nevertheless, I credit most of that to the bullpen, which was fantastic throughout the season. They had their inevitable collapses, but the bullpen wasn't the responsibility. It wasn't their responsibility that we exited the playoffs early, and in fact, they pretty much held us together. Bullpen plus the offense, which is really weird for one of my teams. Really, really weird. Let's look at the, let's go ahead and look at the offense here. We had several things of great note that happened this year. Really, I want to look at pitching. Which is near and dear to my heart. Let's look at innings pitched. Jose Rivas went down very early in the season. In fact, I think he went down in the spring. Yeah, in spring training. And he was lost for the entire season to us. And that really, that sort of changed the makeup of things for us. Let's see, innings pitched. Rivas, yeah, he only got 3 games, and eventually only pitched 4.2 innings, and then he got 2 starts and 5.1 innings, and was pitching well. In fact, fantastic. He's a fantastic pitcher, and then catastrophe as he injured himself. Oh, come on now. Boink. I got to get that right place. Oh, no. Crap. You can see my problem with full screen. Oh, I can't get it. Oh, bummers. Can I just scroll? There we go. Yes, that'll work. Regular season. Innings pitched. So without Jose Rivas, who was basically our number 2 guy, we started the season with Nico number 1, Rivas number 2, Bartolo Romero 3, Shihiu Uchida 4th, and Bailey Challen 5th in the rotation. And we changed that up during the year. Bartolo Romero became our number 1 guy, although Nico led the way in innings pitched. Nico had a really good year. He had, in fact, an all-star year. He won 17 games and lost 8. His ERA was 3.79. 214 innings pitched, 34 starts, 1.22 whip, 3.5 WAR. Just another fantastic year by Nicodemus Hellman. The brain just keeps soldiering on. His rating has dropped to 2 stars, but the dude just keeps delivering. So we have him under contract through next year, and our owner wants us to extend him. I don't know if we will or not. Bartolo Romero, who came over to us last year from Amsterdam, had a 15-9 record, 3.98 ERA, 196 innings, and 1.19 whip. He is almost like Nico version 2. He had a 4.7 WAR this year. He had a fine season. His record is not as good as the season that he had. I thought he actually pitched better than his win-loss record. Reginaldo Filiti, a left-hander we acquired from Key West a few years ago, went 14-7 for us this year. This is by far Filiti's best year. He won 11 games for us in 2045, and so this is his greatest win total, 14-7. Also his best ERA at 3.05, his best whip at 1.07. He just really stepped it up for us this year, when in fact he only got 28 starts because I relegated him to the bullpen mid-year, and then I brought him back into the rotation. Shihiu Uchida, by contrast, had the worst year of his professional career. You can see he won 11 games each of the last 2 years, and this year he went 7-10 with a 4.27 ERA and a 1.22 whip. 3.3 WAR, obviously not terrible, but not what he had lived up to last year. Bailey Challen, the guy we brought in from free agency, went 10-11 for us this year with a 5.12 ERA and a 1.38 whip for a 1.1 WAR. Challen was a bottom man in the rotation, and he eventually went into the bullpen for relief. He was eventually replaced by Lenya Katalov at the number 5 spot in the rotation. In the bullpen, Mezyan Assad, actually, he got 12 starts this year and a total of 43 appearances for a 7-8 record, 4.15 ERA and a 1.33 whip. He had a positive WAR. He was fine for us. He was a strong man out of the bullpen. Carlitos Bernardino appeared in 42 games in relief, and he was adequate, but he had a sub-0 WAR. He was minus 0.4 WAR. His BABIP was high at 312. And, interestingly, Bartolo Romero's BABIP was also high, so the defense behind these guys was not the greatest. Bernardino Carlitos, I think he had a down year. He should have a better year than that. Luis Chavez had 30 saves for us. He had a fantastic year. And I don't think he got all. Did he get All-Star recognition this year? I can't remember, but he should have if he didn't. He had probably the finest year of his life with a 1.95 ERA and a 0.96 WHIP with a .200 opponent average. So this guy was almost automatic, Luis Chavez, and he appeared in 62 games for us and converted 30 saves. Just a fantastic year. Positive 1.7 WAR. Leo Munoz and Virgil Langenkamp, the two guys who came into the setup role this year, both pitched in about the same number of games. Munoz, 68 games. Langenkamp, 65 games. Munoz, a right-hander. Langenkamp, a left-hander. Both had a roughly 3.0 ERA, 312, 297, 1.06 whip, 0.99 whip. Both fantastic. Noel Abbott pitched most of the year out of the bullpen. He did have 3 starts for us and 35 total appearances before his trade to Dublin. He was traded to Dublin as part of the Finley Tapley trade, and the only reason I moved him was because I needed to move his salary to make room for Finley's Tapley salary. So, and I really like Noel Abbott. Old Noel has done well for us, and he did fine this year for us. He had a 1.50 whip, 1.1 WAR. Abbott was, for years, he was a dedicated horse in the bullpen. He was our go-to guy. Lefty Pedro Martinez, shaken and stirred, had a 4.19 ERA across 57 appearances with a 1.66 whip. The 1.66 whip is not great, but he was a loogie, and he usually got the job done for us. Lenya Katalov got the call up late in the season, both early and late, and did not impress in his few appearances, but I'm looking for him to be a major part of the rotation next year. So, I guess in summary, on the pitching side, phone going off. I was surprised at the poor showing of our rotation this year. I think it's better than that. Now, the loss of Jose Rivas for the entire season, basically, that didn't help. You know, he was one of my go-to guys, and he was not easily replaceable. And I really didn't even try to replace him. I like to build internally and to be more organic and slow in my moves, to be opportunistic in my moves rather than wholesale slice and dice, make and replace. So, anyway, I didn't really want to make a move to replace Jose Rivas, especially when I fully expect him to be back next year in good shape. But that hurt us for sure. For sure. It would have been great to have another really good strong arm in the bullpen, or in the starting rotation. I don't know what else to say about that, except we had 4 10-game winners in Hellman, Romero, Felitti, and Challen. Shihi Uchida had a down year with only 7 wins, and our bullpen was strong. Our 3 trio of our left-right closer, our left-right setup plus our closer, Munoz, Langenkamp, and Chavez were, I think, among the best trio of such setup and closer tandems in the league, and perhaps in the WBL. Very, very happy with those 3 guys. And, I've always been a fan of Leo Munoz. And also Luis Chavez. If he ever got his stamina back up, he'd go into the starting rotation. He's a fantastic pitcher, but he's sitting on a 30 stamina. 28 years old. And anyway, his total number of saves were down this year, 34, 32 to 30. And I just think it's because we actually won more games this year, but we were in fewer save situations. So, yeah. Look at his ERA over the last 3 years, 3.50, 3.11, and 1.95. His strikeouts went from 83 to 86 to 102. Yeah, Munoz getting it done for us. So his appearances were down from 67 to 62 this year. Love Chavez. He was an opportunistic pickup, basically in replace of Donald Mason, along with other pieces in that mega Mason trade. I'm glad Mason has helped Buffalo get to the World Series this year. And at the same time, I feel like we got out of it what we needed to get out of it to replace Mason. I'm frankly surprised Mason has survived this far. When I dealt him to Buffalo, I didn't expect him to. I expected him to have another good 1 to 2 seasons, but I've just always been skeptical of flamethrowers, man. I mean, the guys who live and die on that strikeout pitch and on the heat, one little injury and their career's over, right? Whereas a guy like Hellman, who he's like the Greg Maddux, you know, he kills you with his mind and not with his stuff. Hellman can pitch into his 50s, you know. So so anyway, that was really my rationale for sending Mason, and I'm surprised he's lasted as strong and as long up at Buffalo as he has. And I'm glad for the Americans he has, but that was really why I moved him. So that's the pitching side of it, and on the batting side of things, let's just start with, I can't sort by plate appearances, but let's just go by at bats. Jaime Robles appeared in 157 games for us. The dude not only was an all-star, but he was the batting champ this year with a .342 batting average. And fantastic. I mean, I don't know what to say except fantastic. Fantastic. What else? What else can I say? Fantastic. Did I say that? Did I say fantastic? Hugo Yazicki, our third baseman, got a really slow start to the year and wound up finishing 279. I should say, before I leave Robles, Jaime Manny Robles hit 34 home runs this year, knocked in 102 runs, 102 RBI, 34 home runs, and a .342 average. That is freaking amazing. And I'm not a guy who goes, you know, I've always been a guy who loves defense first, man. Give me a good cornerback over a good running back, or, well, maybe not a running back, but you know what I mean. Give me a good cornerback over a good wide receiver any day. And I've always been after defense and pitching, but that doesn't cut it in this league. So Jaime Robles led the way with a 5.9 WAR this year. In fact, I probably ought to sort by WAR. Pei Wong was next with 5.3 WAR. He got a slow start to the season, as did Hugo Yazicki. Pei knocked in 77 runs. He hit 25 home runs. He had a .279 average with a .380 on base. He was getting on base and getting it done for. His OPS was .909. So Hugo Yazicki also got a slow start to the season. He wound up hitting .279 with a team-leading 44 home runs. Hugo, fantastic third baseman, both offensively and defensively. I'm trying to think of a real-life counterpart. Brooks Robinson, maybe? Is that too tall of a comparison? He's a fantastic third baseman. I kind of think he might be the best third baseman in the league, and might be a shoe-in for a Hall of Fame spot. But anyway, Hugo quietly just does his job and had another fine year for us, 4.9 WAR. The number 4 WAR guy, there was a bit of a drop here. Alonzo Purple Ninja Turtle Donatello hit .280 for us with a 2.7 WAR. Donatello knocked in 21 home runs, and finally, last year Donatello came into his own, and this year his numbers were just a little bit down. I thought he would break 300 this year, but he had a very strong year for us with a 796 OPS. He drove in 80 runs for us, and really liked Donatello. I'm glad he has come into his own at first base. Jose Gonzalez was a surprising number 5 for us. Really surprising with 2.5 WAR because I kept him down in AAA just about the entire freaking year. when I finally had to bring him up because of injury, I brought him up because we were dying in defense in center field, and it was either bring him up or bring. Oh, my mind just went blank. Let me scroll down. Shoot. Can you believe I forgot the guy's name? Bill Mahoney. That's who I'm thinking of. Mahoney. Yeah, it was either bring up Mahoney or Gonzalez, and Gonzalez had the better ratings, and so he wound up hitting 281 for us with a 328 OBP, and I would take that all day. 844 OPS. The guy knocked 12 home runs and drove in 38. I'll take that all day and all night. Why didn't you play like this for us, last year, Jose Gonzalez, and the year before? Man, I've been so pissed off at him for so long. Let's see. Gonzalez was hurt 2 weeks before the end of the season, and so he missed the last 2 weeks of the season, and that hurt us, both offensively and defensively. Zippo Adipo was next on our WAR list with a 2.3 WAR. Zippo hit 303 in mostly a reserve role, platooning at catcher and giving Pei Wong some relief. Zippo also played some first base and DH, and he hit 15 home runs, drove in 64 runs, 216 total bases. Zippo has been a great, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. He hit 15 home runs, drove in 42, and for 106 total bases. He hit 303 for us this year with a 377 OBP and a 941 OPS. I still think I've got the best catcher tandem in the league between Pei and Zippo. Next was my left fielder Luis Velez, who consistently overachieves his ratings. He's always done it for us. He hit 314 this year for a 2.3 WAR and hit 19 home runs with 64 runs batted in. Those guys were most of our offense. Jaime Robles, Jose Gonzalez, and Luis Velez in the outfield. And in the infield, Alonso Donatello, Hugo Yaziki on the corners, and catcher Pei Wong and Zippo Adipo. Those were primarily our offensive threats. Now we drop down to the positive WARs, but better than 1.0. And it's a big drop. And part of the reason is because these next two guys were part-timers. Badr Aldin Zahir, second baseman. I credit Moscow's turnaround to our to our discovery that Aldin Zahir was in free agency. Dublin had outright released him during Rad Pants's non-tenure, and he was out there in free agency, and I'm trying out everybody in second base and shortstop that I can, and he was there, and he hit well for us, and he simply filled a void for us at second base. He wound up hitting 265 with a 300 OBP and a 741 OPS. Man, I will take that at second base any day of the week. Any day of the week. Next, Finley Tapley. He only had a 0.8 WAR for us, but it was because we got him late in the season, right at the trade deadline. He was a trade deadline baby. Finley hit 344 with a 389 OBP, and I'm pretty darn excited about my outfield corners and Jaime Robles and Finley Tapley for next year. Still got to figure out my center field slot. I've got some left/right fielders I can deal, but I need a center fielder, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Two more outfielders come next. Valdemar, Lord Voldemort Custance, who excels in the postseason. He hit 294/333 for us this year. And Terry Cohen, who was a free agent pickup, or actually a waiver claim a year or two ago, hit 254/317 for us. Both of those guys are fine fifth outfielders, and I hate the thought of moving them, but I think I'm going to have to move one or both. These next two guys, well, let's just get to the these guys produced 0 to negative WAR for us this year. And basically, let's talk about my middle infield. Early in the season, Toby Butcher and Obiniana Esperanzilla were injured for 6 weeks. I think they both, back-to-back, on back-to-back days, got 6-week injuries. And I really had nowhere to go. I mean, I had Nyasoria Dumbe, I had Roger Jones, I had Vladimir Bakhmediev, I had Danny Gonzalez, and I had Joe Blatchford, whom I picked up at some point, I think this year. And I tried all those guys, and nobody was a good fit. I mean, I've got defensive guys, and that's what I just had to go with, was defense. Even if a guy can't hit, if he can at least get on base close to 300, I'll take that. And Obiniana Esperanzilla did get on base at a 289 clip with a .603 OPS, and I'll take that. He has superior defense. I like, and I think he's still a work in progress. Danny Gonzalez, I still have some hope for. He did appear in 442 games for us at second and at short, but he only hit 208. And I just held on to him because I didn't have another solution with Toby Butcher out. And before I got Aldin Zahir. When I got Aldin Zahir, suddenly I had a solution at second base. Roger Jones, actually, he went on waivers and was sent down to AAA. Nyasoria Dumbe has never grown into his fantastic ratings. I took him on a flyer from Key West, and just curious to see if he would magically fill out his ratings, and he hasn't. So I think I've given up on that pipe dream. Fates Assure, I'm surprised he's down this low on the list, but he only hit 240 for us this year and only got on base at a 290 rate. He did, however, hit 21 home runs, drove in 54, and had an OPS of 712. Sure Thing is going to be a part of our offense of the future. Whether it's in left field or first base or at DH, I don't know yet, but Sure is surely a part of my future. I love the guy. He has really matured this year, and I think he's going to be a strong, pivotal part of our offense next year. I just got to figure out where to put him. If he suddenly magically woke up playing second base, I'd be dancing in the streets. Roberto Gallegos actually got 324 at-bats for us, but only started 90 games, and those games he started in center field, and his defense is pretty atrocious in center field. His bat was okay at 259/298 with a 761 OPS, 14 home runs and 51 RBI. And I may just have to live with that next year. I may just have to live with that. His rating in center field actually went down to 35. So that sucks, man. But I don't know. Maybe I'll put Jaime Robles in center field. I gotta have somebody in center field. You know what I mean? So maybe I'll put Fates Assure in center field. That basically would make a giant hole in the middle of the field. But oh well. Maybe I'll just recruit. I don't know. Toby Butcher is a fine second baseman for us, except this year he appeared in only 30 games and never got his swing down, and he only hit 217 for us. Joe Blatchford was, I believe, a mid-season waiver claim and appeared in 35 games, but only hit 158. And probably the reason he was on waivers. He did actually do well the first few weeks, but then he went to crap. So there you have it. In my hitting, my outfield corners and infield corners excel. It's straight up the heart of the field that I still have issues. Second base, shortstop, and center field. And I'll have issues going into the postseason, and because we're losing Jose Gonzalez and his $10 or $14 million salary. Why is he RP? Was I high or something? Relief pitcher? Jose Gonzalez. Oh, man. Set position. Center field. There we go. Yeah, Jose Gonzalez. This guy would not be the worst center fielder in the world. He's still got the range. He's got outstanding range. A 75 rated defense in center field. Great speed, 70, 75, 80 on the base paths. His contact rating is down to 45. Though OSA says it's a 50. Yeah, maybe OSA is right. His eye has never been his strong suit. And in fact, he struck out 41 times compared to 21 times compared to 21 walks. However, he hit I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong line. He struck out 46 times as opposed to 62 hits and 32 walks. So yeah, about 3 times as many strikeouts as walks, and that's probably about par for him. 11 stolen bases and 3 caught stealing. You go, Jose. He hit 281/328 with 844 OPS. That's pretty darn good. I like that. If I can bring him back at a reasonable salary, I will. You know, he's wrecked, but he's had plenty of appearances for us over the past 3 years. 610, 508, 286, or sorry, 486, 610. So about 600 to 500 appearances in the past 3 years. He's been representing for a guy who's wrecked. It's just this $14 million salary has been a source of great heartburn for me. But he really performed this year. I was really happy with him. Now the guy who has to perform for us next year, the guy I'm counting on, is it's this guy right here, Bill Mahoney. But Bill Mahoney's ratings have fallen off. He got an audition last year in center field for us and only hit 240/277. So with 1 home run, he didn't do too good on the offensive side. But maybe he covers his weight on the defensive side. You can see he had 4.5 WAR down in AAA Category. Jalil bin Fawaz down in Category is a backup catcher, and that's what he'll always be. He had a 4.6 WAR. Adrian Jones and was a center fielder down in Category, a 3.5 WAR. He's an overachiever. I don't think Adrian Jones will ever see WBL. His ratings just don't seem to merit it, but who knows? He might get a call up next year. He's 28, kind of now or never for Adrian Jones. Yeah, Adrian Jones had a better rating than Roberto Gallegos did down in AAA, that's for sure, but Gallegos did hit very well. I don't know. We'll see. These guys are probably 4A guys and probably won't perform, but you know, now that I'm looking at this, let's look at some more. And down in AA, who's our high WAR player? Cody Witt. Why that guy overachieved. 336 with a 5.0. Fernando Chavez came over in the Buffalo deal, and I'm looking for him to become one of our corner outfielders soon. Fakanif was one of my first draft picks, and he may well become a catcher of the future for us. Dave Chase and Ronald Riggs are second baseman. Ronald Riggs may get a call next year. He hit at 369 clip this year down in, what am I looking at? He hit, what is he doing in AA? He should be in AAA. Ronald Riggs. Oh, yeah, he ended the season in AAA, hitting 369/436 in AAA. So Riggs is only 21, but it might be time to bring him up. He has exploded down in our farm in the past couple of years. So those are the highlights from, I don't even know who Brent McBride is. Who is that guy? Somebody we picked up in I don't know. So that's AA. Let's look in single A. Epco Westerdoen is an overachieving center fielder. He needs to be promoted to AA. Leo Rodriguez is a shortstop who everybody's got their eye on. Leonardo Rodriguez, age 20, and he is doing well fast. Jack Gallen, a catcher, hit only 217, but got on base at a 363 clip for a 1.9 WAR. We also have some guys down in our international complex that we'll be looking at soon. Let's see, fielding. Who had a great zone rating for us this year? Who had a, let's see. Oh, Shihei Uchida was fielding for crap this year, as was Nico Hellman. Both those guys weren't helping their causes off the mound. Payway and Zippo are both great with our pitching staff, with a catcher ERA of 3.90 and 3.94 respectively. They didn't throw out a whole lot of guys this year, only 22%, 24%. Ooh, Payway had a minus 2.1 zone rating. That's interesting. No, I'm not trading him. First base, Alonso Donatello and Luis Velez both had outstanding defensive years there. Jaime Robles got a lot of starts at first base before I moved him to the outfield. Second base. Well, look at this. This is news to me. Danny Gonzalez at second base had a plus 11.1 zone rating. That is the shit right there. A 474 range and 11.1 zone rating? Well, fuck yeah. You know what, Danny Gonzalez, you may have just secured your place. Even though you only hit 208/257, we might have to deal with this. Obiniana did not exactly have a stellar zone rating. What about at shortstop? Mostly a bunch of suckitude. Even Danny Gonzalez was about 0 zone rating at short. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at third base. Who got the reps at third base? Of course, Hugo Yuziki got the reps at third base, and minus 0.4 zone rating, 2.68 range. His defense is not what I thought it would be. Shortstop. Who's the positive zone rating? Roger Jones. He's a career 4A guy. He's never going to hit major league pitching. Danny Gonzalez, plus 2.9 zone rating at short. Danny G, he's got the defense, man. Toby Butcher sucked at short, and Obiniana Esperanzia had a minus 2.3. That's not very. What was Luis Velez doing at short? Oh my God. Zippo at shortstop? Oh my word. Left field. Who got it done for us? Well, Fights Assure actually had a positive zone rating and a 1.121 efficiency in left field. I gave up on him in left field. He's far better than Finley Tapley was, though, with a minus 3.8 zone rating. I might have flipped these two guys. Fetza might have to play in left field while Finley is at first base. Or DH. There's an idea. Center field. Oh my God. Look at this. Roberto Gallegos had a minus 18.0 zone rating in center field. Oh no. No. Oh, no wonder we sucked, man. Oh. Worst center fielder in the WBL, maybe? I need to watch my own games more. Anyway, he started 90 games in center field. A minus 18.0 zone rating. I'm turning red here. Jose Gonzalez, on the other hand, had a positive 6.6 zone rating and started 56 games for us in center field. When I finally got my head out of my ass, man. Jaime Robles in right field had a minus 6.0 zone rating, which is saying something bad. Jaime, you're not so great as I thought you were defensively, pal. Well, putting all these pieces together, I'm the reason this team sucked defensively. Oh. So the major takeaways from this are: I need a center fielder. Might need a right fielder. Might need to bring Finley in and put Shure out to left field. and Danny Gonzalez might have won himself a defensive middle infielder job. You go, Danny Gonzalez. I'm glad. I like Danny Gonzalez. He's a nice guy. He just needs to be able to hit just a little bit. You know what I mean? Top prospects in our system. Let's just talk about a few of these guys. Albiniana Esperanzia really spiked in his ratings, but then fell off, and he eventually only hit 209 for us, but he was injured a big chunk of a month and a half during the middle of the season. Just starting to get a stroke, and then he's injured, and just starting to get a stroke back. Season's over. Fates Assure, number 2, with a 240 average. He's going to be a big force for us next year. Number 3, Luke Wilt. He is the second best shortstop in our international complex, and I think he's going to be a really good one. He's just 18, and he projects at about a 3.5, 4-star rating at shortstop, and I think he's going to be good. But he's got another guy he's got to beat out, and I'll show you him in just a minute. Ronald Riggs, second baseman, like I said, he may be about ready to come up. He destroyed AAA. Absolutely destroyed AAA pitching this year. Ronald Riggs, you know what? What's your defense like, my man? Do you suck at defense? At shortstop? Where did you play? Third base? You played third base? What? Why'd you play third base? You're a good third baseman. Man, we didn't have enough reps to figure you out. What the? Why did you play third base? Because you can. You're a better third. Well, here you see it. Here's the scouts ratings for this guy. If he can achieve those profiles, man, a 70 discipline. If I can have a second baseman who can just get on the frickin' base and work it for the walks, I'll be happy. Anyway, Riggs, welcome to the big leagues. I'm about ready to promote you. You're about ready to be GM. Anybody else I want to talk about here? Probably not. Fernando Chavez will be coming up soon. Leo Rodriguez. I got 3 great shortstop prospects in my system, and that's Luke Wilt, Leonardo Rodriguez, and a guy who's not even listed here, and I don't know why. I'm going to show you him. Our top prospects and pitchers, we've only got 3 worth a darn. Only 2 of these are really, really worth a darn. One is Paul Madison, Ripper Madison. He was one of my draft picks. I think he's my most recent first-round draft pick. And then Haywood Usim, who is still pending a name change by our august commissioner. Haywood Usim pitched himself to a 17-4 record in AAA with a 3.58 ERA. He's 26. I think this guy just successfully convinced me to bring him up. I think I'm going to bring him up. I might bring all 3 of these guys up. Piercy, Madison, and Sim. You guys might be up, and you might get a call up in spring training for sure. Well, I guess that's all I got for you. I promised you one more thing, didn't I? All right. Are you ready for this? I'm not sure you are. I got a bunch of suckitude in my international complex. Probably need to cut some players. I'm at 44. Okay, here you go. Here's the big reveal. This is your treat for waiting through the end. Here's the guy I spent $10 million on last year. 16-year-old left-handed shortstop, Pablo Hernandez. Are you ready for this? Look at this. That is so sweet. Pablo Cruz Hernandez. Do not disappoint me, son. Son, I do not want to be disappointed. Man, I'm waiting, man. I'm just bankrolling it until this guy comes up. I ain't kidding you when I say I want me some shortstops really bad. And my top 3 prospects in an international complex, and 5 of the top 6 are shortstop and center field. I know I got problems up the middle, and I'm trying to solve them. but it's going to take some time for these guys to, sort of come of age and get on up the line. So Pablo Cruz Hernandez. Every time I see it pop up, I'm like, oh, I can't look. But he just keeps getting better. So, anything else? I think that's all I can think of. I think I've talked myself out. Thanks for joining me. I was going to write all this up, but thought it'd be better just to talk my way through it. The big issues we had this year were the 3 injuries. The one to Jose Rivas that put him out for the season. The 2 back-to-back injuries to Obiniana Esperanzia and Toby Butcher. And while Butcher was out, Zahir took his place and did just fine for us. Thank you very much, Zahir. I credit Zahir with the team's turnaround in July. Those 3 injuries were big for us. Still yet, we made the playoffs by 1 game over Istanbul, and for me, that's a success. I'm always just delighted when I can just make the playoffs. It would be amazing to actually win some segments of the playoffs, but just making them is fine. And we lost money this year, big money, in part because I went all in on the international complex guys, including the guys you just looked at there, and had to pay the hefty penalty for that, the tax, and that really tanked my income for this year. However, we'll probably see a budget reduction next year as a result of that. However, I think we'll be back in black next year. We've got plenty of payroll room for next year, and I think we should be in good shape. Knock on wood. Knock on the wood. Finley Tapley, huge trade this year. I think that was the only trade we made this year was Finley Tapley. I'm racking my brain to think of anybody else. Tapley. That's all I can think of. And that was an amazing trade. And I'm just ecstatic to have Finley Tapley on my team, the Comet. He's still 24 years old. He's been around forever, since he was 18, but hopefully he'll have another good 6 years in Moscow, black and red. Well, all right. Well, thanks for listening. I've dragged this out long enough. Just a fine year in our system. We finished 4th in our league. Katake finished 1st in AAA. Novaya Maka finished 2nd in AA, and Belgorod finished 2nd in Single A. Our entire farm system performed well, top to bottom. So not looking for any major changes this off season. I would like to add a fine pitcher for the rotation, but it's not a must. I'd like to see what's out there in terms of center fielders, and need to again critically reevaluate my second base shortstop position for this coming year. So that's all I can really think of is that I want to address or at least look at this off season: center field, shortstop, second base, and starting rotation. And other than that, man, I'm pretty happy with what we've got and where we're at. Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it. Good to be in the WBL. Another fine year. Glad to have some new guys in the league. Glad Mr. Radpants is and Mr. Real are active and contributing, and just another good year in the WBL. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for listening.